selling real one Chevy.
Hola and bienvenido. Welcome back to IJustWatched. Today we're talking The Sea Beast, another Netflix original, an animated Netflix original. But before we get into it, I gotta hit you with the usual, which is hopefully you like this enough to smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell to get notified. The Sea Beast. Honestly, this movie kind of snuck up on me. I don't remember watching a trailer or really catching like any advertisement for it. And when it popped up, like on the For You section, I was like, pirates, ocean, monsters, easy peasy. Let's jump in. I was like, bet, you sold me. Before we get into it, though, I want to hit you with the spoiler warning. I almost forgot. There is some beautiful animation, some beautiful visual storytelling that goes down, and I actually really like this realistic elements in the animation mixed with the blocky, cartoony feel the characters would have from like their movements, reactions, the look, the design. It was like two different things mixed or blended, but they did it in a really good way, or in a way that I actually really enjoyed. I liked it. I liked the way they did it and portrayed it, and it felt smooth, which is like the only way I can describe it. It was smooth. It like felt good to the eyes. Captain Crow, voiced by Jared Harris, he gives you that classic captain feel in every sense. He's basically Ahab searching for his fucking Moby Dick, his great white whale. Actually, here it's red. It's the red bluster. It's not technically a whale. Jacob Holland, aka his son, and voiced by the cheeky devil himself, Karl Urban, who this crew has already built quite a name for themselves. But Captain Crow and then Jacob Holland, these are the best of the best of the best of the best in the hunter game, and their ship, for one, has a great name. It's the Inevitable, with red sails, and I love the fact that they shoot a flare and they get behind it so the red hits the beast and it catches their eye. There was a lot of like subtle genius mixed into this movie, again with some beautiful animation, some beautiful shot design. They face off against this giant green sea beast, and throughout it you see how everyone's focused and fighting it, and Jacob's character is literally going out of his way to save people. Also, if I was captain of a ship, I want a bagpiper on the hell too, because he said blow it and he started blowing the bagpipes and the intensity hit, and I was like, oh shit. The design of the characters and the overall kind of feel of the movie had a very like How to Train Your Dragon feel for me. Like the first time I watched it, from the animation to the fluidity to smoothness to like the creatures, the man, like it has a giant, deep How to Train My Dragon feel, and I actually really like that because I love those movies, and that made me really love this movie and enjoy it. I love the vibrant colors to the monsters, to the changes in their size, their different designs, and then plus I really like the way they portrayed the monsters' emotions through their eyes. I thought that was great, and it really made me love it a bit more. Maisie, she is a orphan little girl. Parents were hunters. They went down on the ship called the Monarch, and she's a gangster little child. All right, she wants to join the Inevitable because it's the best ship, well, second best ship to her. Okay, on the sea, and she wants to be a hunter just like her parents. Voiced by Zaris Hader, a great little character. I love her character. She's spunky. She's very creative. She's a little book genius and determined. Or as Captain Crow says, she's all vinegar. The dynamic we get between Jacob and Maisie is one of the big draws for me. They did a really good job of it just felt like they shouldn't kind of work, but it worked really well. They finally get to the Red Bluster. They're fighting the Red Bluster, and they get Pinocchio semi-swallowed and separated from the crew. The Red Bluster takes them to Skull Island. All right, it's Monster Island, but it's where all the beasties come ashore to chill. All right, it's HQ for them. And then this is where we kind of dive even more so and get a bigger plethora of the monsters, because we see Blue, which I thought was funny. She was like, he's my pet. He's like, well, I bet you I can guess the name. He's all blue. But little things like that in the movie made it great. Different monster designs. You see some monster on monster action, and you start to see the change in dynamic when Maisie realizes that the Red Bluster, or monsters in general, the sea beasties, aren't just this mindless, murderous creatures, and we go down that path. So now that they've kind of created this little makeshift bond, this time they're on top of the red bluster instead of inside her. The reason I brought up her book smarts and stuff, because she's always reading books on the tales of hunters, or like I think the book title was like Tales of Captain Crow, and that's how she knows about Inevitable, Captain Crow, Sarah Sharp, Jacob, and their stories of how he killed 4 sea beasties in 2 days, and he was like, it was 5. He's looking through it, and he's like, it's not real, or that's not factual, and like they start to break down how this book or books are filled with falsities. And then we have like a deep moment that brought to us by like Maisie. And I'm gonna paraphrase because I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was along the lines: all people have to remember you by is what is written, what's written here. You know, these stories are going to be the truths that they believe once we're dead and gone. And we find out that all the books are actually published by the royals, basically the financial backers and benefactors of the hunters, who have been wanting people to be afraid of these creatures, to hold control through fear, basically to keep their reign as king and queen throughout the years. Really is the turning point, and we start moving forward and seeing the dynamic change for the whole world, basically. Great hunters like Sarah Sharp. I love Sarah Sharp. She's always like this intense badass, the most loyal first mate, voiced by Marianne Jean-Baptiste. Killed it. I love the fact that she stay strapped, boy. She like gun, knife, sword play. Like she stay ready. Before I forget, almost did. My absolute favorite shot in this movie is this moment where it's under the water. Jacob and Maisie and the red bluster are having this like basically stare down, and all you see is the red bluster, this giant, massive kaiju of a creature, disappear into the darkness of the depths of the ocean. And I was like, oh, like it was beautiful, but also creepy. I love the ocean. But if you're like afraid of the ocean, that's why you're afraid of the ocean. Because you know that monster's there, but it backed up. Now it's gone, and it could be anywhere. Really love this movie. I enjoyed it. I've seen it a couple times. Highly recommend it. And actually kind of want a couple things. I would love to see if it could be done right, which kind of, you know, up in the air, but like a prequel. Because I'd like just to see the Inevitable and the crew in their prime bringing the smackdown on the Beasties, you know? See, kind of get glimpses of why Captain Crow, Jacob, Sarah Sharp, the whole crew, the Inevitable, are such badasseries. Because we get a small glimpse here, but I'd like to dive more into that, just to, you know, kind of witness the greatness, even though it's messed up because the monsters aren't at fault. But that's besides the point. I just want to see it. I think this movie's deserving a sequel, but it also, the way it ends is very solidifying, letting us know that the world changes. We, you know, doing better. The Beasties are here. You know, like there's no longer in the midst of a war. So I think a sequel would be great, and I'd be interested in it just to see more of this world and the creatures. But at the same time, this movie ends in such a great way. I don't know if it would be a good thing. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I love the Beasties. I love the dynamic, the humor, the talented voice acting, the animation. Definitely a hitter for Netflix. If you haven't seen it, check it out. The Sea Beast. It's really fun. It's a really good movie. Have you seen it? If you have seen it, let me know your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, requests. Do you agree, disagree? Down below, let me know. But until next time, stay safe, be well. Adios.